check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What I've said, and you know what I've done, and you know what we're doing, and I know what you're doing.
And what you're doing is watching Talking with TalksALot, the variety talk show featuring some of your favorite people talking about some of our favorite stuff. Joining us today is the wonderful Lasso of Truth. How you doing today?
I'm good. Hi guys. Thank you everybody for showing up. And thank you, Sir TalksALot, for having me.
Heck yeah. As I've said before, there's no one more deserving to be on the Sir TalksALot channel. So, welcome.
Thanks.
We will say hi to the chat real quick. We've got Vince Womack saying, gonna have to watch later again. Hopefully I'm free for yelling at parked cars. Well, hail on the replay, Vince Womack. Glad you could make it for a minute. Hail Jacob Ironside. Glad to see you, sir. Then there's the lovely Lasso of Truth in the chat. Hail, hail. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Hail, sir. And again, there's no E in my name. Gosh. Omega Star Productions says, have a good one, Sir TalksALot and Lasso of Truth. Thank you, Omega Star. Glad you could stop by for a minute. Hope to see you around here in a little while. Blair to Blair. Hello. Hello. Glad to see you here. And Dragon Master 360. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Mountain Man Talk Show. In a couple of months, I'll have a mountain man beard, so we'll be close.
It is amazing how fast you grow facial hair.
I know. That's what everybody tells me. And I'm like, yeah, well, it gives me good turnaround on characters that need beard and then don't. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. I'll tell you, though, I tried that whole shaving every day thing, and that was a pain in my ass. Because with how fast it grows, go through a different razor every week and a half. Anyway, so Lasso, I hear you're into Stargate. You like that Stargate show a little bit.
Yes, I was a huge nerd about it when it was still on. I was on the sci-fi forums. Do you remember when it was still Sci-Fi Channel? Yep. Like not SYFY? Yeah, Skiffy. Yep. Yeah, I loved it.
So, assuming you're not going to answer Universe, which of the two actual Stargate shows was your favorite?
Oh, definitely SG-1 was number one for me. And Atlantis was a good second to me, in my opinion.
Heck yeah. So for me, it's the other way around. I enjoyed Atlantis just a little bit more than Stargate SG-1, but they were both fantastic shows. Hail Zax. Glad you could make it. It's a good person to have in the chat. Fun person. So what is it about? Did you nerd out on Star Wars or Star Trek the same way you did Stargate?
At the time, no. Well, a little bit was Star Trek. Star Wars for me, I was more into it when I was younger. It was at the time when Stargate was on. It was all about Stargate, pretty much.
Heck yeah. So what about Stargate made it like stand out for you?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, the characters were fun, and I loved the.
Indeed.
Yeah, I loved the just the premise of the show. You know, going through this wormhole and into other worlds and stuff. I just thought it was fascinating, and Jack O'Neill was always funny to me, and Teal'c was, Teal'c like just totally captured my attention.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a combination of the premise and the characters.
Heck yeah. Hail Ryan Roger Athay. Hey folks, hope you're all enjoying the stream. I do hope you're all enjoying the stream, and thank you for coming, Ryan. So Richard Dean Anderson was amazing in that entire show, and him and Christopher Judge just played off each other so very well that
Mhm.
I feel like it provided the kind of chemistry that you need to make a show successful like that. And so for me, it was like the combination of the military seriousness with a little bit of slapstick humor that made it way more engaging than the always serious or, mostly serious like Star Trek and stuff like that. Because while they
Yep.
did have some comedic bits in Star Trek, especially with Q, I felt like it was much more natural in Stargate.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then, of course, we saw one of the best female characters in that show, Samantha Carter.
Yep.
And even if we don't agree with these people's politics in real life, they're amazing actors, and we give them props where they go.
Yep.
So, who would you say your favorite character is in SG1?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and
I
I've been thinking about it. Um, it's really for me a tie between Jack and Teal'c. If I have to pick one as my absolute favorite, I guess I would have to go with. This is hard.
Yeah, it
um,
is. They're all great characters.
yeah,
So,
like honestly, I feel like it's a tie between O'Neill and Teal'c. Yeah, I can't pick one over the other because, like you said, the way that they played off each other, it was like the dynamic between them. It was like a package deal. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
hmm Yeah, I'll agree that they are the two best characters in SG1.
Hmm.
Teal'c takes the lead for me just because, like, Christopher Judge can be a straight man, like
Hmm.
nobody I've ever seen,
Yep.
since John Cleese, even. Like, he can be a straight man where he says and does ridiculous things and he will not break character. And, like, the Jaffa joke that he told
Yep.
about the set's nose dripping was hilarious to me just because of
Yeah.
how he delivered it. And so Teal'c as a character with his initial bluntness and then his attempts at humor and as he grows and grows throughout the series is probably the best character in it. Like,
Hmm.
hands down. But
Yeah.
Jack definitely takes that second, but it's only because Richard Dean Anderson played him.
I agree with your assessment. As far as the acting, like if we're judging like on the acting skills, definitely goes to Teal'c. Because of everything you said, I totally agree with that. He just totally captured my fascination and um he's just the way he was like stoic but also could be like crack a joke once in a while, and like
Yep.
I loved it when the rest of the team like would like look at him funny when he would try to tell a joke, and he would like just crack up about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
That's some of
good.
my favorite scenes with him in it. So,
Hmm.
Blair to Blair says General Hammond is my favorite. Yes, General Hammond
Yeah.
was an amazing character. Him dying was, like, in real life was a huge loss for that community. I will definitely say that.
Yep.
Jacob
Yeah.
Ironside poses a specific question. What's your favorite system lord? Mine is Ball. Do you have a favorite system lord of the Gua'uld?
Um.
Blair to Blair says Lord You. Loved the dementia at the end.
um. For system lords. No, I don't think I really have a favorite out of them.
Hammond of Texas. Yes. No, I don't have a favorite system lord either. I thought they were all well done, but I couldn't pick
Yeah.
one as being my favorite. My favorite bad guy type in that is the replicators myself. Ooh, hail Gutsy 77. I'm watching it now. Stargate is has its own channel on Pluto. That's awesome. Yeah, I
Wow.
own unfortunately all three series, all of the movies, as amazing as that is, and they're all great. I mean, Arc of Truth,
Hmm.
Continuum, they were great capstones to certain storylines,
Yep.
and I'm glad that they did it. Omega Star Productions says Anubis. He was an amazing
Yeah.
bad guy.
Yep.
Like his archetype was crazy because half ascended, Gua'uld, like
Yeah. Yeah. That. Yeah. I would agree with Omega Star on that. Yeah.
yeah, like Anubis was awesome. What would you say your favorite bad guy type was in that? Was it the Gould or the Unas or Replicators?
I think the Goa'uld.
Yeah,
Yep. But yeah, the replicators were that. That was an awesome. That was an awesome element as well. That was some really good, just straight sci-fi stuff.
yeah,
I liked that. Um, yeah, but I would have to go with the gold because of the lore behind them.
yeah. With
Yeah.
them being the gods of Earth and stuff like that back in the day, and I liked how they worked the mythology into it.
Yep. Yep.
So good. Shame they couldn't do a crossover Stargate with Predator.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
it's sad that they couldn't get the Yauta, that's the Predator race, into Stargate, but I think they did a great job with Anubis's elite guards, especially once they had the cloaking tech, and
Yep.
that was close to Predator, and it gave me very good Predator vibes. Uh,
Yeah.
it was super good. And one of the reasons I like the replicators myself so much is because they crossed it over into Atlantis and they made it an entire separate kind of storyline for the Atlantis replicators versus the Earth replicators. Where
Hmm.
in our galaxy, in the Milky Way, they have they were toys, right? More or
Yeah.
less to entertain this one, the first human form replicator. And in the Pegasus galaxy, they were weapons.
Hmm.
And I liked how they crossed those over because my favorite enemy type of the entire series, like shows, both of them combined, would be the Wraith, though. Because
Really?
those guys, yeah, because the Wraith just have this visceral terror that they put into the show that's just mm,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. They were kind of a scary bad guy. I got really um burnt out on them though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Hmm.
I have this enduring fascination with various types of intergalactic vampires, and those guys are probably my favorite so far.
Yep.
Because the whole feeding through the hand thing was great, and my favorite wraith of all time was Todd.
Hmm.
Todd was a badass.
Yep.
Um, so when it comes to SG1, um, do you think they ended it in a good place?
The ending was kind of weird because it was more of like a die off than an ending.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. So I would say no. I wish it had a better ending.
That's fair. I wish it would have gone on for at least another season, but I get it.
Yeah.
Um, they had a lot of potential with that show. With the quantum mirror, they did alternate universes. With the wormholes, they were able to do intergalactic travel and time travel. A
Yep.
lot of tropes that are overused these days, but Stargate did it right,
Yeah, I agree.
especially when they did the quantum mirror episodes.
Yep.
Because we see the multiverse these days, and it's all just we're going to mush them together. We can have like 5 of the same person in the same room. Doesn't matter. But Stargate added the twist of when there's the same mass occupying the same space time at the same time, it causes a lot of issues.
Mhm.
It causes them to break down.
Yeah, yeah, the Stargate really did a good job with that. That was really well written sci-fi in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. And We're missing a lot of that these days. Joseph Malozzi, Baron Destructo on Twitter, check him out. He's the showrunner for all of the Stargate shows,
Oh yeah, I remember that name.
and he's actually the runner for the new Stargate that's coming out.
Oh, nice.
Have you heard anything about the new Stargate?
I just heard that they were doing it, and the way I feel about like bringing up old franchises, I get really worried about it. So I've kind of not been paying too much attention because I feel like I just feel cynical about it.
I got you. It's easy to feel cynical about modern new entertainment.
Yeah.
Hail Christian Delorme. Happy to
Hi.
see you. So with the new one, me and Omega Star have had this conversation a few times. I'm kind of on the fence because the script is primarily written by Google's AI. It is a computer generated script.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there's talk that they're bringing back 60% of the original cast,
Yep.
we're looking at Daniel coming back. No word on Judge. I think he might be done with Teal'c, especially now that he's Kratos. No, there's no word on whether or not Anderson will be back, but Amanda Tapping will be. There's talks that McKay's character will come back, David Hewlett, and it's supposedly taking place 10 years after the events of Atlantis, because they were supposed to close Atlantis with a movie, but they scrapped the whole damn thing for Universe. Terrible idea, by the way.
Yeah, that was an awful show.
But from what I'm seeing, they're basically erasing Universe from existence for the new show, which I'm cool with.
Good move. Yeah.
Yeah, because as we saw in episode 200 of SG1, the younger, sexier stuff was a joke, and then they went with it anyway.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Despite having a killer cast, the writing was subpar, and it didn't hit the mark.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. And so, on that note, what are your thoughts on Dr. Rodney McKay?
At first I wasn't really I couldn't really warm up to her.
To her. Dr. McKay? Yeah.
Wait.
Rodney McKay. David Hewlett's character, super nerd, fixing everything.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting characters mixed up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. McKay is probably my favorite character across the entire series, just because of his character development.
Yeah.
From going to the raging narcissist you see, nymphomaniac in SG1 to where he ended in Atlantis, being with Keller, who will be in the new show. I'm assuming they're married now. But McKay was my favorite character development in that entire thing. And I loved the fact that they made him allergic to lemons. It's just so random. Like, citrus will kill me. And they're like, oh, threaten you with a lemon. But, yeah. McKay's my favorite. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see any of the Stargate, what was it called? Origins? Or whatever it was called, with where Catherine discovered, was there and working on an active Stargate program 40 to 60 years before the Stargate actually got started up. Did you see any of that?
That was like a mini series type thing, right? Yeah.
Web series, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Well, I should say I kind of remember it, but I did see it. Yeah.
And I'm just guessing you were underwhelmed.
Yeah, kind of. I thought that it had I thought that it had potential, but it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it felt like just like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, all this stuff happened, and then we erased their memories.
Yeah. Like why?
Yep. Blair to Blair. Web series trying to get MGM channel going, and then they went bankrupt. Again, just saying. That's why they're getting bought by Amazon. Which is another reason I'm not super excited about the new. That's one of the reasons I'm not excited about the new one is it's going to be on Amazon. And
Yeah.
we've seen what they do with shows.
Yep.
So, given the potential that this show had for woke ideology, because there was a lot, specifically with the Goulds and all these other things like the alien races, there's a lot of room for woke shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they're actually going to put it in there?
I do. That's why I'm leery about it because I feel like it's just unavoidable. It's like they can't help themselves. It's got to
Yep.
go into everything. They've got to get that message into every piece of entertainment, even if it doesn't add anything to the story. It's
Never adds anything
exhausting.
to the story.
Yeah, it
It
never
never
does.
does.
You can't just have like a gay character and just have you can't just have like a character that happens to be gay. It has to be a gay character, but that's its sole purpose.
Yeah. Single point identities for the characters. And
Yes.
it's lazy writing, as Deadpool would say.
Yep.
I agree. Especially since you're looking at Amanda Tapping and what's his face that played Daniel, Michael Shanks.
Yep.
Because they're both very woke individuals.
Yeah. And I don't if you I think it was in the first episode of SG1. I recently rewatched SG1 and I didn't pick up on it when it was first on, but do you remember what Carter said when she was kind of like establishing her presence on the team to O'Neill about just because my reproductive organs are on the inside and not the outside? I was like, damn, that was an early woke moment.
It was. I caught on that the first time I watched the series, but didn't think anything of it. And now in today's context, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember that back then it was okay to make jokes like that.
Yeah.
And keep them jokes, not make them a serious message.
Yeah.
Now
that's true.
Not allowed to do that. If it's in the message, it's got to be a serious telling of it.
Yep.
There's no word on whether the DeLuise are actually coming back to work on this show, which also is a detriment to the show, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because without Peter DeLuise, the original show wouldn't have been what it was. His directive and creative mind kept that show on track, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
The DeLuise are probably one of my favorite Hollywood families because of the content that they've helped make. And they need to get him on it. They do. They need to get at least Peter DeLuise to consult because it needs to have the spirit of the original show.
Yep.
So Christian Delorme says Amazon did surprisingly good job on the Terminal List.
That is true.
Blair to Blair says and Reacher.
Yep.
I agree 100% on both of those. I'm only on episode 3, 4 of the Terminal List, but after watching Reacher in its entirety, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the second season of that. Like, did you watch Reacher?
Yeah, very good.
So good. And again, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Aquaman, like, ripped. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, because that was Alan Richson, I think that's his name, from Smallville. Aquaman in Smallville. And like, I watched Smallville and then I watched Reacher.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, like, and another actor from Smallville was on it, Lana.
Yeah, she was. she was one like the lady he was helping out or whatever.
Yeah.
Like so good. That was such a good show. And see, we know they can do them right.
Yep.
So, and the terminal list so far is just crazy good. Like, I can see where people are like, oh my gosh, it's an alt right fantasy. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's what makes good entertainment.
I know. It's like, it's, I don't even think it's an alt right fantasy. I think
It's not.
it's just a accurate portrayal. And,
Mhm.
and I think that that's what gets them the most. It's like, this doesn't contain the message.
Right. And the guy that wrote that story, the stories for the terminal list, was a SEAL.
Yep.
So like he knows what he's talking about and he can put like all kinds of twists in there that normal people wouldn't think about because he's been there. He's been downrange. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And like it's such a good show so far. I can't wait to see how it goes. And I can't wait for the second episode or second season of Reacher because it looks like each season is a book.
Oh,
And
cool.
my wife was like, that was so good. They didn't deviate from the book very much at all. You know, there were a couple things they did wrong here and there, but overall, that was a fantastic show. And I'm like,
Nice.
oh, good. Because I remember right after watching the movie Jack Reacher with little Mini Cruz rocking his shit, it was like, she was like, that's not Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Like, how can a guy that's 5'2" be Jack Reacher? He's 6'3" and 300 pounds of muscle. Like, he doesn't even look like that. I'm like, okay. And then we watched the show, and she's like, now that's Jack Reacher. I'm all like, okay. I wish I had Richson's muscle disorder. Honestly, that man literally cannot use weights.
Wow.
He has a specific disorder that increases the amount of muscle mass that he gains on a daily basis. So
Oh
if
my
he does any
God.
more than push-ups and like dry squats, no weights whatsoever, he actually winds up so big he can't move. So
That must put a strain on his heart.
you'd think so, but that man has been in peak physical condition for decades. So I mean, unless
Wow.
he goes the Arnold Schwarzenegger route and starts having heart attacks from raw eggs, I'm like, I think that guy's set. Like, make him the next action star. Like,
Yeah.
fuck The Rock. Bring me Richardson. Like,
Yes.
yo.
Yes.
Let's see here. Small Time Republic says Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville has a good podcast. He does some great work. That man is incredibly engaging. And he was my favorite Lex Luthor so far.
Oh, he was so awesome as Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Like, and he could be a great Lex Luthor these days too, because all he did was put on muscle mass.
Yeah,
You know?
true.
So it's like he didn't really age. That man looks almost exactly the way he did back in Smallville.
I
Couple
know.
wrinkles here and there, but
Yeah.
shit.
What's
I
his
wish I
secret?
aged that much. Good genes. Like shit. Like I got this big old Jewish schnoz from my dad, and like I'm like, man, like But anyway. Tommy says it puts a strain on his skeletal system, talking about Richardson. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Disorders like that do put a huge strain on your body, but I hope he can stay in peak physical condition because Toxic Man Flu. Hail, sir. He says Smallville. We talking about Jed? No, we're talking about the good Smallville.
Mhm.
Not the disappointment that you get for 30 seconds of Jed time. Love you, Jed. But yeah, so what other shows are like up there on your favorites list?
A lot. Well, Smallville is might be my all-time favorite just because of my the love of Superman and Clark Kent. I just love that show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Nice.
X-Files,
Yeah.
of course Stargate.
Right.
Let me think. Breaking Bad.
Never watched that one.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, beginning to end, there's not a bad episode. Seriously.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that you've said that, I might watch it. So
It's it's really good. I recommend it. I'm currently rewatching Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, so good.
Yep.
Hamlet on motorcycles.
Yep.
Ah, Charlie
Um,
Hunnam was so good in that series.
did you know that I didn't even know that he was Brit until like after the series? Like I had no idea. I thought he was just a regular
Yeah,
American actor.
I did too. I didn't realize he was British until I saw a post Pacific Rim interview with him.
Yep.
And I was like, that's his voice?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my. He
Yeah,
sounds
that
amazing. Why is he in an American accent? Fuck that American bullshit. Bring on the Charlie Hunnam.
for
Like,
real. Yep. Um
Hail Brahma Bulls. Sons was good. It was indeed.
yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. So,
yeah, just yeah, I like a lot of shows.
and you're big into horror?
Yep,
Are you?
I love horror.
What's some of your favorite horror franchises?
Well, I would say that I think Halloween is my number one. Michael Myers. He's my favorite horror icon. Um but I like all the classics, like um Friday the 13th. Um
The
I don't know.
Voorhees.
Yep, yep. It just I there's very little I don't like as far as horror goes. I have a high tolerance for horror. It takes like it has to be woke for me to really not like it. And
Yeah.
and it's funny because I don't know if you've heard of the streaming service Shudder. It's all horror.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Their original stuff, they have some woke writers on there, and so that's been kind of weird. So yeah, there's some wokeness coming into horror lately.
Yes, there is. Hail Boosh McFadden.
Hello.
I'm glad to see that the Swamp Ape made it back to his computer. That's an inside joke. You guys don't get it because you're not on my Gilded. I should drop a link on that. Do. But yeah, I love horror. My favorites, of course, were back in the day, uh, like John Carpenter. Anything
Oh yeah,
is
definitely.
amazing. I loved Wes Craven's productions.
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street was fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, so fun fact about Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, and it's actually a fun fact about John Wick. In John Wick 1 through 3, John Wick killed 299 people in 3 movies. That's more than Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees combined across all 22 of their movies. Just
Wow.
saying. John
That's
Wick might have
hilarious.
some anger issues that scare Jason Voorhees. Boosh McFadden says, didn't know Lasso would sound like that. I love your accent. Well,
Oh,
those
yeah.
nor'easters,
I'm originally from Mass. I can't get rid of this accent. I've actually tried.
Hey, the Mass accent is great. I love it. I wish I could duplicate it. The closest I get is Brooklyn, and I'm like, hey.
It's funny because you can't really fake a Mass accent.
Nah, you can't. And you can't. And my favorite like Beantown accent comes from Jeffrey Donovan.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
he's so good.
That's another show. I used to like that show too.
The Burn Notice,
Um
or which one was
actually
that?
Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan. Yeah, that's the other
Yeah.
great one that he was in. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's such a good actor. He's such
Yeah,
a wicked
very.
pista. Such a
Yeah.
wicked pista. It's crazy. Uh,
Tommy asked if we were talking about old Mike Myers or new stuff. Definitely old stuff.
yeah, I haven't actually watched any of the new Michael Myers stuff. Just because I was like, Hollywood or Halloween H2O killed me.
Yeah.
That killed me on the Michael Myers franchise.
Hmm.
Granted, that's just one mistake in many that they've made so far with the
Hmm.
newer horror franchises. It's just like Jason, what was it, 2000 or whatever, when he's in space
Oh man. Oh, I
Fucking
hate that.
murder. Yeah, it murdered that for me.
Yeah.
Um, and then the Freddy versus Jason movie actually killed Freddy for me.
That's what I hear people say, but you know what? That's one of my favorite movies.
I didn't hate the movie entirely. I wish it would have had more Jason X. Thank you, Boosh. Um,
Yeah, right.
but
Yep.
uh, there they could have done Freddy better. Um,
Yeah.
I will say though, the guy that played Voorhees has played every major monster, um, except for I want to say Michael Myers in his career. He's
Oh,
played
wow.
Frankenstein. He's played Jason Voorhees. He played Leatherface. He played. He even did the handwork for Freddy Krueger in Freddy versus Jason. Um, Same guy the entire time, and he's like, 6'5", 280 pounds, and like I love the stories behind how he decided to make Voorhees intimidating. Because during the
Yep.
first movies, he was just standing there, and they're like, just stand there and look intimidating. And he's standing there, and it's just a mannequin. Everybody thought it was a mannequin. Nobody thought he was an actual guy. So he just started doing the heavy breathing on his own, and they were like, "That's perfect. Oh my gosh, he's breathing. Why didn't we think of this?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Tommy,
agree with Tommy's statement. Yeah.
a big mistake in the Halloween franchise was letting Rob Zombie redo the first movie Beyond the Asylum stuff. Rob Zombie, as a horror movie maker, is like subpar
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah, I'm not
best.
a fan.
House of a Thousand Corpses, all those movies, like the only thing that made them even remotely engaging was the level of gore that they had in it. And I don't mind gore fests, but I like some substance to it. That's why the Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre was so good in every iteration that it did that I've seen. Was it was a gore fest, but it had the heart of terror for it. Like Leatherface is a terrifying individual.
Yep.
And like it was enough gore to make you go ew, but it was good enough that you were like, that was great. I loved it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I have to um I mean, obviously with horror you're going to get some gore. So that's, that doesn't bother me, like if it's an element in the movie or show or whatever. But when that's the subject, like with Saw,
Saw. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just too much for me. It's like this is all this is. It's just gets to be kind of mind numbing.
Yeah. And then there's the fact that the horror movie franchise is all of the franchises are plagued by numbered sequels.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. Numbered sequels have killed Hollywood because it stops them from actually having to come up with an original idea for existing characters. Because,
Yeah.
uh, like, how lazy is it that you go, okay, this is Halloween 2. Let's just start with the Halloween. This is Halloween 2. Okay, it runs directly off the first one. Not bad.
Hmm.
Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5. It's like, okay, well, how about you give me like Halloween Night of Terror and you change everything except who the killer is and, give me an original background story on why these people are being hunted by Mike Myers.
Well,
Because at
you're
this
not
point
far off.
he's a demonic presence, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's funny because you're not really far off with that line of thinking. Originally, the Halloween movies were all going to be different movies. It wasn't meant to be Michael Myers in every single movie. That's why Halloween 3 Season of the Witch was a completely different movie. That was
Yep.
the original goal. But everybody loved Mike Myers as the bad guy, so
And then they went the lazy route.
yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's the same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they used different people and they changed it up slightly, but it was literally just a copy paste format
Yeah.
for the entirety of the series. And okay, Tommy is making an argument for numbered sequels. He says Predator 2 and Aliens. Yes, I will agree with both of those assessments because while Predator 2 wasn't as good as the first one, it was a standalone movie and they could have just given it its own standalone name, but Predator 2 was a good one. I don't care what anybody says with their comparison bias regarding it to the first one and et cetera, et cetera. It was a good movie. Aliens is the same thing. And you can't really count Aliens as a numbered sequel because they technically changed the name. Now once you got to like, you know, what was it, Alien 15 or some shit, whatever we're on now, where it's like, okay, now we're just gonna fuck up the entire origin story of the xenomorph. It's kind of like, why you do that? And then Bush McFadden brings up Terminator 2. There are exceptions to the rule with numbered sequels.
There's always an exception.
Mm-hmm. It's just like saying, you know, that Warner doesn't really put out good TV shows anymore. I'm sure there's an exception out there somewhere. We're just not watching it because we don't care anymore.
Right.
That's what happens when you market like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Bush, Aliens and Alien were very different movies. Yes, they were. And that's what made them so good. They were very different. But are there any movies coming out that you're excited about anytime soon?
Excited about? No, not really. Especially nothing that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Disney.
Right.
No, I can't think of anything that I'm excited about. I will watch the Halloween Ends. I gotta see it, you know.
Right.
But I can't. No, I'm not excited about it. Well, I should say I am looking forward to seeing it because I guess I love Michael Myers, so there's that. But that's really the extent of it. Yeah, no, that's about it. That's really it.
That's fair. I actually feel the same way. I'm not actually excited for anything coming out soon. Oh yeah, Pirate 6 with I'll Get Naked money for money, Margot Robbie. Yeah. That entire franchise lost me when they cut Johnny. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Johnny simp, but he's fucking Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Period. That's like making someone else Wolverine once you've had Hugh Jackman for 14 years. It's not going to work. You know, and then we're running into the same things with Captain America and all these other Disney controlled bullshits where there's like, you know, let's just change everything and say it's going to work. And it's like, I'm not very good at market analysis, but I can tell what they're doing is not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very simple. When you're hemorrhaging money, you're not doing it right.
Yeah,
Disney,
exactly.
Looking at you, Disney.
Yeah.
Tommy says, I don't think I can highlight. Oh, yeah, I can. Sweet. He says, Disney needs to burn to a pile of ash.
Yep.
I agree. For many reasons. One, they're not focused on entertainment. And since they're an entertainment company, you'd think that'd be a priority.
I know.
Number two, they are completely controlled by Chi-Com. That's as political as we'll get on this show today. And number three, they have abandoned reason in favor of social politics.
Yep.
And the reason that bugs me so much is because we would be willing to accept some of these woke messages if they were wrapped inside of a good movie. We have for years, for decades, people have been like, oh, well, there's political messages all over this, but it was great, you know? But nowadays they're like political message first, entertainment second.
Yeah, yeah. It's all the whole focus on, I mean, entertainment. If you even can get away with calling it that,
Right.
is just getting the message out. It's indoctrination. It's inescapable, and entertainment should be an escape from real life.
Yep. 100%. And many people have made the argument that not all entertainment needs to be escapism driven. And I
Well,
always
that's
counter
true.
that. This is true, but I counter that with even the nonfiction entertainment has to
Hmm.
be entertaining and escapist in some way.
Right. Yeah, I
Like
agree.
when you look at a historical documentary, if they start changing details to where, like, you know, Abraham Lincoln's black, no, just because that's ridiculous, but let's just throw that out there.
Yeah.
When they do that, they're bringing modern problems into a historical story.
Yes.
And those problems, despite what these soft-brained fucktards would have you believe, did not exist back then.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was subsistence living most of the time. You didn't have the creature comforts that you do today. You had real world problems instead of first world problems.
Yep.
You know, now that we're steadily declining into a third world country, the United States will experience those a little more often, unfortunately. But when it comes to entertainment, it's the most important thing you can do as an actor, a writer, director, anybody, is to focus on the art of taking people away from their lives and their problems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, naturally, this violates the idea that they have to overload us in order to control us. But I want to see pure entertainment,
Yes.
you know, and that's not too much to ask for.
No, it used to be the norm.
Mm-hmm. Like the 80s and the 90s gave us
Mm-hmm.
the best entertainment that has existed so far.
Yep.
There were some good stuff that came out of the early 2000s and the 2010s, but once we got to the middle half of the 2010s, it started just downhill in it. I mean, yes, Bush, Freud was a quack. I don't know why you just commented that, but yes, Freud was a freaking quack. I hate that man. I hate that man. And I hate his assistant too. So Freud back in the day was doing medical research on cocaine, right?
Yeah.
His assistant stole his research and published it. And you don't know who what his assistant's name is, because when we found out cocaine is bad for you, he got vilified and completely removed from all medical history.
Mm-hmm.
And just completely ostracized in the field. And I'm like, that should have been Freud. Okay. You know how much I had to hear about penis envy while I was in college for psychology? I mean, come on, people. It's not a thing. The only time I've ever heard of a woman being envious of needing a penis is when she has to pee outside. All right.
That is
God.
true.
Yeah, you
It would make it easy with camping.
It would. Yeah, you hijacked the stream and you're not on the panel. That's because you said a freaking trigger word for me. That's Freud.
I remember you telling that story before.
He's a piece of shit. I hate Freud. Man, Boosh, you better post some good foods of pictures of food in the Gilded later. I'll be mad at you if you don't. Here is the Gilded link to connect with everyone in the chat right now. Make sure to join. It's fun. We've got exclusive content. I will be doing an exclusive behind the scenes of my new song on there within the next couple of days. But for right now, I'm actually going to preview it. Hey, look, there's the chat. And we're going to play some music. All right. This is called Mr. Mean, the villain song.
Writing up a contract that calls for blood and ends with someone dying because he said they should. If yo lucky is a bullet to the head, he pays all his dues in copper and lead. When he has a problem, people end up dead. Here comes Mr. Mean, he fills them all with dread. Depending on his mood, he might change your fate by throwing you out the car in the middle of the interstate or blowing your ass up in the middle of town. He won't even break a sweat cutting your ass down. They call him Mr. Mean, it's all business in the end. The gas strapped to his hip is the only thing that he calls friend.
And that's what you get. 40 seconds.
Cool. I
Yeah.
love your original creations.
The second verse in that is actually very Cypress Hill. So keep an eye out for that on Friday. It will release in its full glory on Friday. And I will have some exclusive behind the scenes look of me messing around with that song probably tomorrow on Gilded exclusively. Nice. So make sure to join that, people. So I know you don't have a channel or anything. We are nearing the end of our show. Is there anything you'd like to talk about, or channels you'd like people to subscribe to, other than Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective, which you guys should go subscribe to Tommy from the Guinea Pig Collective?
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Tommy, Vinny Art is a great channel. Drew, Supreme Heretic. Yeah, just drawing a blank.
That's my life. Drawing blanks.
Yeah.
That's what I do best.
But yeah,
definitely go subscribe to Drew. Check out the Midnight Prism from last night. That was a good episode about black-eyed kids. So
yeah, that was fun. That was a fun stream to watch.
Hell yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. But we're gonna go ahead and start winding it down. Yes, Toxic Man Flu does suck. You're right. By the way, that's Toxic Man Flu saying that. So I'm just agreeing. Haha. So make sure to catch me tonight on Yelling at Parked Cars. I still haven't even looked at the Gilded to see if we have guests planned or anything. Since the producer for the show's watching, I know he's happy about that. And then no video tomorrow. I will be filming and producing and editing Frank Lee for next week. That's Frank Lee and the Alien Invasion. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be a great time. Introducing a lot of new things. Wednesday, we'll have Dark Philosophy. I need to get in touch with my potential guest to see what he's up to. But that'll be a good time. The viewers voted on the topics last Wednesday for that, so go check out the replay of that. Awesome one. Hail. Thank you for joining us at the end. It's fantastic to see you. But Thursday, there's Thursday Night Throwdown. Friday's got a new song release, and you just heard the preview of it. It's called Mr. Mean, the villain song. It's going to be a good time. And yeah, other than that, we'll catch you all later, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, stay sexy and don't get murdered. Now, what did I do with that outro? I forgot to upload the outro for this show. I'm going to do the Dark Philosophy outro. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's not the right show. What the hell?